is a warm, humid one out there. Corn-grown weather. 9:37 is your time. Coming up later on in the 10 o'clock hour, we'll be talking with Robert Lerman. He's an Institute Fellow at the Urban Institute, and we're going to be talking about job-related issues such as the Youth Apprentice Intermediary Project, and they're talking about registered apprenticeship programs and allows participants to jumpstart their careers. Maybe they don't need to have that four-year degree in order to make the kind of money that they would like to make. Not only that, to have the kind of career that they want, the kind of career that's going to give them not only satisfaction, but it's going to give them the kind of income that they need, not only to take care of themselves, but to raise a family. Right now, though, we're talking with Michael Petrilli. He is the president of the Thomas B. Fordham Institute at Stanford. He's a research fellow at Stanford University's Hoover Institution and the executive editor of Education Next. And he joins us on the Loarca Law Group Newsmaker line. President Petrilli, good morning. It has a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like that, but you can just tell me. That's okay.
Okay, Mike, good morning. Thanks for joining us here on Need to Know. There's a recent article you had you authored in the Wall Street Journal, and it talks about college wage premium, and it depends on where you live. And I know in Iowa, that's one of the things. There's been a brain drain for years. We like to think that we've been able to push that back and keep more people here. Part of it is the quality of life. The other part of it is that we're able to have an increased value of the dollar here. Tell me a little bit about this article that you wrote and how maybe different states factored into it.
Yeah, so that's exactly right, and so glad to be talking with you in Iowa. I grew up in St. Louis, go Cards, and understand how this all plays out in the Midwest. Look, there's been all this talk in recent years about growing income inequality. And when you dig into it, what you find out is actually most of that increase has happened in a handful of big metro areas, mostly on the coast, the New Yorks and D.C.s and San Franciscos, but also places like Chicago. And what's happened there is that those economies really have been transformed, where the middle class is definitely getting squeezed out, where there's not much between these high wage earners. Almost all of them went to college or beyond, who are working professional jobs, making big money, and then the service sector that's servicing them, not a lot in between. And in those places, you can understand it really is true that if you don't get that four-year degree, it's going to be real hard to make a decent living, and partly because they're just so expensive. But in most of the country, in places like Iowa or St. Louis or other smaller metro areas, small towns, it hasn't played out the same way. There still is that broad middle class. You do get paid more for sure if you get that college degree, but the premium, the difference between what you make with a college degree versus not having a college degree is not as large. And as you said, the cost of living is much lower. And so what all that means is that in most of America, you can still do quite well with a two-year technical degree or a trade credential. Usually, some kind of higher education. You got to get those skills that are valued in the workplace. It's still the case. Usually, a high school diploma alone is not enough, but it doesn't have to be that four-year academic degree like you might have to get if you want to move away to the big city and to Chicago or to the coast.
And that's something here in the state of Iowa. We note that you do have a lot of more rural jobs, but you see that these cities like Des Moines and the Des Moines Metroplex and the Cedar Rapids, Iowa City Waterloo corridor, those are the basis for a lot of these jobs. Value-added agriculture is some of them, but there are a lot of support jobs that now have really turned into you need to know your P's and Q's as far as the business world. So at least those two-year degrees, and you even have people who have highly technical degrees that are taking that next step and going to advance them through an MBA or an executive MBA. The study that you wrote about, did that take that into account as well?
We stopped at just the four-year degrees, but what you're talking about is exciting. I mean, people talk about these stackable credentials that you go on and you get started, but then maybe with a one-year or two-year credential and maybe keep going as you go through your career. The big message for young people, though, as we've got this generation just graduating, coming out of high school, thinking about what to do. Of course, the pandemic is making this so hard. Is to say, look, you got to decide, what do you want to do when you grow up? What kind of lifestyle do you want to have? But it's really important to also ask, where do you want to live? And that may lead you in different directions in terms of your education.
Like, was it Richard Florida that basically back in the concept that the younger people back then, I guess who were maybe roughly my age or a little bit younger right now, they were deciding where they wanted to live prior to deciding where they wanted to work. That was the way that they made their decision. And it's almost the reverse now because people have been through the 2008 scare. They've now been through the pandemic. They're choosing, sounds like Michael Petrilli, that they're choosing to have their jobs wrapped up before they choose where to live.
Yeah, but if this is the case, then we've got to rethink how we're doing high school because our high schools are still overwhelmingly pushing kids into getting ready for four-year academic degree. The percentage of kids who are doing something, a real technical program in high school where they're doing an apprenticeship, where they're getting, or starting to work on a trade is tiny. It's like 2 or 3%. And so, in a place like Iowa, by all means, we should still be preparing kids for college if that's what they want, but we should also be giving high-quality career technical education options to young people, and there's just not enough of that out there right now.
I work, we're going to wrap up here in a second, but I would love to talk to you offline about this because I'm on the board of directors of a foundation here that works in the Cedar Rapids, Iowa City area, and we work with middle school and high school students, and we talk about, hey, preparing you academically is great, but what about preparing you for trades and things like that? How do we help you figure out your way if you want to do that? And also, maybe you're set to be an entrepreneur. How would you like to go down that road and see what that looks like? And it really has become one of those things where we see more and more students, they are fitting to become our entrepreneurs, fitting their future to become entrepreneurs because they see themselves with incredible ideas.
That's great. No, and that, of course, gives you way more control over your destiny than any other option.
Exactly. Hey, we really appreciate your time. Michael Petrilli, president of the Thomas B. Fordham Institute. Go to fordhaminstitute.org to find out more about what they do over there. You can find him over at the Hoover Institution and writing for the Wall Street Journal. Thanks for joining us here on Need to Know, all right?
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate it. Take care. On the Lamarco Law Group Newsmaker line, Michael Petrilli here on News Radio 1040 WHO and News Radio 600 WMT. The threat of severe weather throughout the afternoon and throughout the evening. Keep your radio here. We will keep you updated on this radio station. And don't forget, you can listen worldwide via the iHeartRadio app. Speaking of worldwide, Simon Conway coming your way here in just a matter of moments. On Need to Know, Jeff Wagner for Jeff Angelo.
This is where Iowa goes to find information. WHO, America's favorite car show, is cruising back to Des Moines for a 4th of July weekend celebration you'll never forget. It's the Good Guys 29th Speedway Motors Heartland Nationals presented by BASF, and it's going down July 3rd through the 5th at the Iowa State Fairground. Bring the family and all your friends and check out thousands of the coolest hot rods, muscle cars, tricked out trucks, and more. And don't miss our Saturday night fireworks extravaganza. For the health and safety of all attendees, social distancing guidelines will apply, and we highly encourage everyone attending to purchase their tickets in advance online at good-guys.com.
Positive cases of COVID-19 in Iowa continue to climb.
More than 21,000 people have now tested positive for coronavirus here in Iowa.
As we faced a crisis, Iowa needed leadership. But in Washington, Senator Joni Ernst wasn't looking out for us, opposing additional relief for our hospitals and nurses, and voting against paid sick leave twice. Instead, Ernst supported a secret $500 billion slush fund to bail out big corporations. It's why we need Teresa Greenfield.
During this crisis, we've seen the best of Iowa, but we've also seen the worst of Washington. The lobbyists swooped in, and politicians voted to bail out their big corporate donors. Workers and small business got the short end of the stick again. I don't take corporate PAC money because I don't think politicians should put corporate interests ahead of you. I'm Teresa Greenfield, running for Senate, and I approve this message. Paid for by Teresa Greenfield for Iowa.
This is Bruce Helmer, co-founder of Wealth Enhancement Group, and I have a question for you. Are you sabotaging your financial success? Chances are you answered that question with a resounding no, but many investors fail to recognize common thoughts that get in the way of their success. The good news is you can retrain your brain and keep your retirement on track. To learn more, download our newest guidebook at wealthenhancement.com/success. That's wealthenhancement.com/success. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA and SIPC.